Welcome back to the North American LCS and our next battle, the despicable, low-down, dare I say, evil geniuses versus Counter Logic Gaming. And EG are coming off an important win against Curse to snap what was a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, and they're only 3 games back from 6 technically, and they still have a shot at a playoff spot, but they do have to step it up. Now, it's very important for them to realize that just because they are down in the standings doesn't mean they're out, and they should not be afraid to lose games.
That's right. Some long games when teams do that. Yeah. So to take a page out of their opponent's playbook, Doublelift talked about it being more effective for a team to take steps to pull ahead instead of working to not fall behind.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way CLG plays. It seems to be working for them. They survived that 4-way tie for first, and now they're just sharing the top spot with LMQ. And last week, they had a 2-0 week with wins against Dig and TSM, who were both very strong teams. And they're also pretty convincing in their win through. So CLG does not seem overconfident, which is a huge thing. They're on top, but they're still focused on making improvements to do better, which is a big key.
Right, and looking at this match, CLG say evil geniuses perform well in the early game, but it's when they transition to the late game where they find trouble.
CLG, very strong team now.
Our record against CLG hasn't been the best, even like scrims and LCS.
I think EG is just not a top-tier material team at the moment. They're very inconsistent, they lose a lot of games.
I think EG tends to make a lot of basic mistakes when they play versus us, and there are times when they actually do well in the early game, but then they just kind of mess up in the late game.
I think Link plays really safe. If I can get out of like the slump or whatever I'm in right now, because I didn't play that well last weekend, then I think I'll do fine against him.
I think it's hard to pinpoint like what you need to attack on CLG. You just need to stop anything from becoming too big. You got a lot of respect going for Rush Hour. Aphromoo and Doublelift are both really good players, and they have really good synergy. But at the same time, you want to look at shutting down Seraph, because that's probably where their weak link is.
I think they need another split or something to actually bond together and be good as a team. So yeah, they're not a bad team, they're pretty good, but I think we are just upper class right now, so it's hard for them to beat us.
I love how there's actually so much social media thought that these guys give out about each other too, and that CLG actually feels that they're very good at scrims, EG is, but it's just one of those can't perform it off and on the playing field type of situations.
And specifically, EG not doing well in scrims against CLG, even if they do well against the other teams.
Right, exactly. So let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's going to be evil geniuses. That means Innox in the top lane. We're going to get Helios in the jungle, Pobelter in mid lane, Altec at AD carry trying to get some pentas today, and Krepo on support.
And on the red side, it is CLG. Seraph in the top lane, Dexter in the jungle, Link in mid lane, Doublelift and Aphromoo as well. Really the carries of the team right there.
That's right, and that takes us right into our featured matchup. See if you guessed it right. Altec versus Doublelift.
Yeah, and either one of these AD carries could just completely go off in this game. Altec has actually had 3 games where he's had a double-digit kill score. So in games EG wins, oftentimes Altec just destroys. He's the big reason they stopped their losing streak with an 11-1-3 performance. And then also we have Doublelift. He's just as lethal. Last week he was 17-2-6 in their 2-0. But he's more consistent, which is the big thing because he's been around a lot longer. Both these guys carried a victory, so one of them could single-handedly tip the game in their team's favor.
And I'm really excited since we've seen it everywhere really, but in Europe, Vayne kind of resurfaced. So we may see Doublelift on Vayne. We've heard Monty in the past say, you know, with Doublelift is on Vayne, we can kind of get a composition that maybe not we wanted out of picks and bans, but we can always rely on Doublelift to just carry the game.
Yeah, I think Reckless's Vayne was something like 18-0.
Crazy.
They did a lane swap early on, which is something that CLG isn't averse to doing. But honestly, they had so much success last week with just Lucian and Kog'Maw. I think they can just keep going with those. CLG success.
Especially the versatility of the rest of the team as well. We look at, and as well, we're going to talk about what Krepo said, is if we focus Seraph. There's been a lot of debate around that if teams focus Seraph, it leaves the map pretty much open for CLG to run amok on, because while you're focusing Seraph, they're taking all the important stuff.
Well, it's something CLG's gotten very good at.
Yeah,
Every time Seraph was killed last week, you would see bottom lane for CLG taking an edge.
Yeah.
And getting some kills.
We'll see what edges they can grab here. Champion Select is live, and we are going to dive right into some bans. Looks like mid lane's getting a heck of a lot of focus right off. Probably see a Twisted Fate coming in as well, but Gragas will find himself banned out again, causing some trouble now in the scene.
Yeah, last week Yasuo was picked 4 games and banned 4 games. He's pretty much respected now for being a total beast in that mid lane. Really the best assassin you can play there, so a lot of times teams will just ban it out to block that strategy from happening. And the Gragas ban is smart, especially to keep Innox down, who's been struggling for a while.
So what is the first priority? An AD carry. Since you just got to figure how much things have changed. Never pick the least safe AD carry first as a priority.
Yeah, that opens up a lot of opportunity here for CLG to kill him. Twisted Fate is neither picked nor banned so far. That could be a very likely choice for Link to jump on top of Kog'Maw.
Still have the Elise for Dexter.
Dexter's got all junglers available.
I think this might be one of the first games we do not have a jungler-focused ban. It's for a long time, at least.
Decent available and not first picked.
Yeah.
It's a real... It's got to be really attractive.
Twilight Zone Week 9.
There's just too much. Bad right.
Lulu and Braum. Those are the priorities. And that's something that they've had great results with.
Oh!
These are fast.
Really? Nunu above all else.
Above all else.
Help protect that Kog'Maw. Want to dive in? Big Yeti in the way.
So they do have
jumping through Ziggs.
They have poke when they approach the turret, living artillery, and they got the Ziggs bombs. Doesn't seem like Pobelter is going to waver to Xerath just yet, with the Ziggs still open. And we now have Link and Doublelift to choose. Link, like most carries, most mids will leave that to round out the composition and figure out what he's playing against.
I would expect...
he doesn't have to choose anything with Ziggs on the map.
I've seen Monte Cristo doing a lot of railing against how he hates the Ziggs wave clear and how it's almost impossible to end games against Ziggs. You would expect CLG to value that pick more highly, especially against a team who they're probably going to want to end quickly. They end up banning Tristana while Kog'Maw is still available and letting the Ziggs through. A little bit of a curious choice there for CLG.
Doublelift Twitch is going to be locked in for this game. And it does seem like they will be, as you were saying, okay with that wave clear. They're going to set up a game themselves right now that says protect Doublelift towards the late game as well. Let's see if he can make any sneaky moves. Doublelift is one of those AD carries that is not afraid to get into the 1v1 situation, and Twitch will allow him to do that a little bit more. Get him to Doublelift and back in his comfort zone.
Not the strongest early laner, that's for sure. But they have the Twitch Braum, and with their coordination and team fights with Doublelift and Aphromoo, it is a lethal combination. But I do wonder, this composition they're picking into has a lot of things that CLG may struggle with.
Eugene definitely slowing down after the second and third pick. Those came instantly. Now we're waiting all the way. In consideration, Krepo was probably going to take his Morgana. Yep.
Just have to.
It's going to be the Mundo for Innox in the top lane. So
yeah, they're going late game. They're going so late game right now. The Nunu for the attack speed, the Kog'Maw, Ziggs for the wave clear, and then Mundo for a late game monster. Meaning that if CLG doesn't take enough damage in the mid lane here, they'll have trouble killing. Mundo especially good late game against double AP compositions, and with the Yasuo banned out and the Lulu already picked, unless CLG is willing to switch Lulu to the mid lane, they're stuck with double AP. With all that being said, CLG is the huge favorite in this game, and there's a very good chance they would just be able to execute and take down EG.
That's what CLG's feeling they can do in the first place. 2-0 coming into this matchup from red and blue. They're going to be back on red side for this game, so they've had it from both sides of the map, and they figured out how to pick EG apart, take them down systematically. What will be the last pick so they can try to do it again this time? Already looking at something they can possibly dive in the top lane. That's going to be Link's Twisted Fate. So that actually, as I was just saying, that dive in the top lane becomes more prevalent with Innox being on Mundo. They might try to find him early, and they might just try to find him if they can hit fast sixes.
And I'd say Link's the best Twisted Fate in North America as well. So being able to get that with the final pick is a bit of a steal. However, there's still a lot of stuff to get through. Jumping in, if EG is protecting right in team fights, would be very difficult for Link to do. But EG is not the type of team that has coordinated spectacularly in the past few weeks. They were on that 6-game losing streak before their cursed victory last week.
It looks like Pobelter's actually going to be running the Flash Ghost on his Ziggs as well.
He does that on almost all of his champions.
Flash Soaks, yeah.
Needing the defensive summoners. It's strange. He's like one of the most aggressive players that brings defensive summoners because he gets himself into some sticky situations.
I remember. It's only been like 3 years since I ran that on Ashe in the mid lane or something. So the teams are loading, and you've been voting. Let's head over to lolesports.com and see how it went. 84% of you. Chat, you did say they were favorite. I think CLG are going to come out on top.
Well, the closer you get to 90, the closer you are to getting hugely upset. But showing
That's true.
by these team comps as well, tweet the hashtag EGWin or the hashtag CLGWin for this upcoming LCS game. So not as much uniqueness as we saw in the last set of team compositions.
Right.
CLG kind of throwing back a little bit to the standard traditional stuff. TF and Lulu with Braum Twitch. I mean, you look at CLG, they got pretty much everything they're experts at. Lulu in the top lane, power picking Korea, pretty much 100% banned. Twisted Fate as well, maybe Link's best champion. Twitch, Braum, the two favorite things they can have in the bottom lane. It's just the things that that composition wants to do are fairly well countered by what EG's composition does well.
Yeah.
So a lot of it will just be about how well EG executes.
Well, let's see what they get into this game with. Innox not able to play his Nidalee as we come into this one, unfortunately. Hoping to see him on that. But as EG faces off against CLG here, week 9, our second game of the day, there will be fear to be had. See what they can do to start off this matchup. Expecting to see Helios play the Helios way. We may see some early game aggression towards Dexter on that new name.
Yeah, both junglers starting with a green ward, meaning the early game invading may happen. They also want to get knowledge of the jungle starts. Still not sure if Doublelift and Aphro will choose to lane swap. They can still get pretty aggressive because they know Altec brought Cleanse.
Yeah.
They also went with some unique summoner spell choices. Check this out. Heal on Aphromoo and Barrier on Doublelift, which is more single target protection than they could otherwise get for Doublelift.
Oh, the ghost already. The ghost already. Oh, he dodges it. Pie to the face of Dexter. That's actually the cocoon they needed. If he were to hit anybody, that was the best one to dark bind. Wow.
Well, they burn a flash for a ghost, so I'd say Link gets ahead of it. And Dexter had actually already skilled his W.
Oh.
I saw a little spiderling fly out after he got dark bound. Scary times for Krepo, though. The ghost from the Fog of War allows them to get
So
some
close.
deep ward positions.
Pobelter's messing with fire here.
CLG is sticking around, despite not having Dexter.
Well, they got their ward in. Seraph got that long ward down, and they saw that Morgana was going to be in the bottom lane.
Got double a fan in the audience.
It looks like they're going to get the lane matchup that they want. Krepo in the bumper said they gave a lot of respect to the Rush Hour bottom lane, so they're going to be doing their best to shut that down as well. Friends outside, but it's all business when you're on the Rift.
Helios, you can see plotting his jungle right there. Says they saw Dexter starting at red. Helios says going here next. Going to his own red. Standard jungle starts. They would technically be on a collision course.
Good auto attacked him there, but he didn't.
Very interested in this bottom lane now. The Twitch Braum against Cog Morgana. How well can Altec use his range advantage with his W on to deal with Doublelift's trading? Because Doublelift got the early edge right there.
Yeah, that was an awesome trade. Aphromoo waited for the minion to instantly go down, and then he threw a Winter's Bite through it. So really cheeky play in the bottom lane so far. But if they can keep doing that, it's going to be very hard for Altec and Krepo to make moves. Dexter looks like he's going to be hovering the bottom side of the map for now.
Helios might want to try and invade this. He did a quick 2-buff so he could come around. But he's actually just getting an early ward out. He pinged to say where Dexter was, not to invade.
Right, watch out. 3 minutes on the clock. That means the lanes have to be very wary of what's going on around them right now. Junglers are going to be peeking out of the Fog of War, and it looks like Dexter wants to make a move out of the woodwork here. And it is going to be to the bottom lane. Double buff onto him. Patience now. See if they can get Krepo wanting to go ward here for this 3 minute. He was able to quickly, I believe he was seen a little bit by the upper ward.
I wonder, because EG's not pinging around like they have seen him. They may burn a flash here. Where's the black shield? Oh, man.
Nice. Altec having to stay there, but he did force a flash. That could be a repeat now, up to about 8 minutes. They're going to be able to work with that again on Altec. You can see Helios. Are they really?
Pretty clever
chase
move
him
there.
around? No, they're not. Okay.
Pretty clever move there by Krepo Rib. He black shielded himself and then blocked in front of Altec for the cocoon. The only risk that was running was that Altec was about an auto attack away from getting stunned by the Braum passive. But they lose the flash of Altec. Still would have had cleanse to get away if he needed it.
Doesn't seem like any of this pressure has really affected too many of the lanes. Only 4 or 5 CS either way, but the junglers, knowing that the lane's not affected, they want to get each other now. Helios steals out, dodges the ice blast. Not a problem there as dexter makes a loop-de-loop on the backside. Can he get the satchel out? Doesn't even try for it. Goes for the damage and cannot connect.
Failed counter jungle attempt right
Ooh.
there. Pobelter is doing
that
mid lane.
Link didn't think it would hit. Gotta trust.
Plus he's so low. I mean, he's a
that
bouncing bomb away from death.
Bouncing bomb auto attack. Oops.
These junglers really trying to get into each other's jungle. 10 CS for dexter, 16 for Helios. Very low farm jungle game.
And great vision play by Helios. He knows the top side is being inhabited by dexter. He goes ahead, takes the bottom. Gonna go back and have free jungle for himself. Even leaves it too, so he's trying to make sure the harass sticks on these. Still, and he actually wants to fight. Or he's looking
great
for Link.
ward.
Yeah.
Great trinket ward. He knows how
Link just plays
vulnerable
that.
he is, so he's gonna have to give up some of these CS at his turret.
What do you... He's trying to hold him. They're trying to fake him in. The blood boil. Oh, he gets it frosted over, but the blood boil sticks a little harder. Yeah, he's got it. That was close. A lot of slows, but we'll see Helios can break out of that.
Helios definitely winning on the map pressure front right now. Even if he's not creating any kills or assists.
That's what we expected.
Link has been scared of him. He drew Doublelift and Aphromoo up there. Did not even have to burn his summoner spell. And is slightly more farmed than dexter.
A lot more movement towards mid once again. Helios making himself present. I like the fact that it's not sneaky. He knows he just needs to get in. He's ahead of the game. He can take a little time here. And it looks like he's going to try to once again thwart off dexter inside of his jungle. Gets the ward out. The consume is there, so he may just be able to grab it off that. And they either have a smite, so yeah, it should be his.
Well,
maybe.
He needs a smite.
Nope, it's his. dexter pushed off on his favorite jungler as well. Helios really making an impact this game to shut that aspect down. It's got to stick around the map though. You can do all this work, but if Rush Hour starts getting going, if top lane Seraph keeps shutting down Innox, so only a 1 CS lead there, but Innox has been at his turret.
And if dexter can get a few ganks in, that is swinging right back in his favor.
They got the
big
position.
thing you have to be able to do as Nunu when you counter jungle is somehow disrupt the next rotation of his red and blue buff, because there is catch-up experience in those. Whereas if dexter is behind, killing those buffs based on the level of the game will give him more experience. Helios is not in position to do that right now, so all this counter jungling could actually be just for slight lane edges.
Got that Quill Coat build going. Go around, just keep nomming on whatever he can. Top lane should be grouped up here. Nope, teleports up by Innox. Helios won't have to cover it. It's going to be blue give to Pobelter. So this will be called in probably as well on the side of CLG. That will be going over soon.
Yeah, it's an okay job by Helios, but no actual buff denial as of yet. The same timings as the initial buffs. They knew exactly where dexter started, so they should be able to time his blue if they wanted that, but based on where their bottom lane is, kind of getting shoved in, their only window would have been to try and take dexter's red buff with the aid of Innox's teleport on Mundo, and they missed that gap, meaning dexter is completely fine in this matchup.
Almost would have been a perfect opportunity as well with that teleport to be hitting up the dragon. See what happens here. We're getting 8 minutes in, especially with dexter on Melise. He's going for that Wraith, or Spectral as well, so he'll be getting himself into some damage area. Doublelift and Aphromoo really freezing this one out, almost denying it. Altec grabbing the siege with the ooze. Very nicely played.
Yeah, great laning by Doublelift and Aphromoo, quite honestly.
So setting him up for this.
Really punishing Altec for taking Cleanse.
That's true.
Cleanse is not a great laning summoner. Dangerous dragon here, though. Potential collapse. Ziggs bomb is very lethal around the dragon pit.
What a binding. Like, I hit something. I know I did.
I swear. The binding broke.
He's got it. Very nicely played. Helios just flexing his muscles, walks in, pushes him off a dragon. Blue buff gets picked up by Link. He probably would have wanted that for the engagement anyways, so he'll be happy to have that in the mid lane now. Destiny's still waiting to be used. No real moves to bring out first blood in the game. We had quite a long one in Europe. I don't think we'll reach that, but these guys are quite patient right now.
And they set a record for longest first blood in the game. Was it 27 minutes?
Yeah,
I believe?
Yeah, right up 20. I think it hit 28.
Unbelievable. The game was over a few minutes later.
It's one of those one and done. Coming up on 10 minutes here. Helios still on the aggression of Dexter. Dexter's at 34 CS. Helios really hasn't made a giant impact with this. Yeah, he was kind of on his red that one time, but everything's still... Dexter's getting what he needs.
Dexter actually has more gold than Helios right now as well.
That's him staying focused. You can't just be flustered because somebody took a few of your camps. Nobody's died in lane. Dexter's not really having to get anything back just yet.
Avoiding counter jungling is an art in itself.
Yeah.
He's done a very good job of it this game.
Absolutely.
He tries to build up to a damaging Elise build. Something I kind of wanted to talk about.
Let's do that.
Well, the damage Elise build existed long before last patch.
Right.
The item that got changed was Spirit of the Ancient Golem, which everyone was using on Elise for the tankiness. The immediate tankiness of that item got nerfed, but the eventual tankiness was increased because of the percentage health that it will have on it. But people just remembered that damage Elise was actually still pretty good, and they're now using it for its objective control and its quick assassinations when they come into lane. And it's actually what the majority of junglers have went back to, just because their other item was changed or nerfed in comparison to what they wanted it from Elise.
Loving that change. And you can see the aggressive junglers who love to make an impact taking hold right away. And that's most of them here. We definitely have been seeing it a lot more in the recent patches with side lanes wanting the ganks more to get them going. The long laning phase where everybody needs to have a little bit more damage in the end game. And it's been proving useful, especially if you can be ahead. Right now we've had two very even games today, so nothing's really shown that it's the better build. It's all about the mechanics and the strategy of what team can put out that W first. Altec, Krepo getting a little bit of breathing room in the bottom lane, but still being alone. He's 10 CS behind, so you can see the work that Doublelift and Aphromoo have been putting on down here. They're going to have a nice fat wave pushing into the turret that'll keep him separated in CS.
I've talked to a lot of AD carries, though, about what makes Kog'Maw strong. And the point at which he gets his ultimate in lane, he just becomes so incredibly dangerous. The amount of damage and application that happens because he can shoot those ultimates in the midst of the rest of his attacks.
It's like it's
One Dark
double
Binding
tap.
would land and Doublelift would be
Yeah.
really, really low. And as you can see now that the lane is at level 7, Altec is getting a little more aggressive. That lands though, and it's a bit dangerous.
They stack the slows. What a soul shackle as well to shut down Doublelift from coming back in. There's the disengage, but do they have the re-engage? Here comes Twisted Fate. They get the expunge and they drop down Krepo. The turn goes on to Doublelift. Helios is very big right now, and what a turn in the counter. Aphromoo forced to jump. Here comes the Mega Inferno. It shouldn't be enough. A sliver of health onto Aphromoo, but it's not over. The teleport comes in, and Seraph gets locked up on a few minions in the feet of Doublelift and can't reach the fight.
A lot happened there, is one thing. Both AD carries walk away with the kill, but because Seraph was the one to get the successful teleport down bottom, they're trying to pressure this dragon. Pobelter, though, wants to disrupt it.
Looks like we got to stop on Innox's teleport unless he did it.
Now Seraph
going to
must
be
have
running
canceled it with
down.
Polymorph.
Right. Very unfortunate for them.
Trying to
They
peel
do
off the
seem to have
dragon.
it. Dexter takes a few hits that he does not want to now. Seeing two CLG members with a combined 600 HP and Seraph with the better of that. They're going to have to move out of this one. It looks like EG may have just roamed across the map to get themselves a dragon.
Innox all the way down. Now an EG dragon. So when all is said and done, EG gets the upper hand here. CLG is also a team that historically has kind of given the dragons up for turrets, but right now, they give the dragon up for nothing.
I'm not going to say he meant to, because I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to, but Aphromoo just did left base without a trinket. We'll forget that happened.
Yeah, that happened. He would have wanted to switch it out for a sweeper because his sightstone was completed.
Right.
Uh-oh.
He's
just
going
sweep things.
Use the feeler method. Put his hands in the grass and just feel around. Figure out where it is. He has the sightstone, so they can at least get the coverage out. They'll definitely be without removing that coverage here in the bottom lane and being pushed up. You're gonna have to be a little careful. Doublelift low on mana. Looks like he's in a situation to back anyways. Aphromoo may just say, I'm coming with you. Dexter getting his buffs again. They have not been able to get to Helios' buffs, but Helios also still is not pressuring those buffs anymore. So Dexter has made it through the early game of the Nunu Harass. Still up in CS, has that item finished. See what the lanes can now do, because we're pretty much over ganks unless they go for Innox in the top lane.
I wonder how the rest of Dexter's build will progress as well, because there is a heavy amount of magic damage on EG right now, and you would expect the jungler to pick up the locket of the Iron Solari. But because he's went Spectre Raid, that is in line with the damage build.
So close.
Unable to give the blue buff there to Link, because Link had taken away that of EG, so they now have double blue buff. Double farming up a storm.
As always, he's in the perfect environment. Leaving that turret up is definitely a good thing for at least who's ahead, which is Doublelift right now. It'd be a damn good thing for a Kog'Maw as well, because you just want to farm the late game safely. But Doublelift and Aphromoo have been making that laning phase very difficult to get easy farm in. Sightstone coming up for Helios as well. Another one of those junglers we see that can bring out that utility for their team. But are they going to be able to use it? All these wards now are placed kind of towards the blue buff and the dragon. That dragon they were able to get. The blue buff, however, is what they're missing.
Heavy ward control by EG as well because of the Sightstone on Nunu.
Yeah.
As well as the Sightstone on Krepo. Triple sweeper and a scrying orb actually from Altec.
I'll be right under the noses.
Try for something.
Oh, hello.
Trying to zone him off CS.
That was a really nice instant behavior for you.
One of the best things that CLG does as a bottom lane is knowing when they can deny the enemy CS, not just getting CS for themselves. That's what Doublelift did there with the stealth, because the scrying orb generally told them where Dexter was, which is why they backed away.
A bit of focus towards mid lane. Dexter trying for the counter. Super safe play here. Pobelter's trying to bait this one in a little bit.
Something big might be happening here. Dexter is behind.
Oh, wow. It's a big collapse here in the mid lane. Be a frenzy going on right now. A great bomb coming out of the hands of Pobelter. He gets 3 on the spread damage there. The area of effect taking down a good chunk of HP. And we're going to have a 17-minute push here on the mid turret. A quick change in everything. But this leaves Doublelift down to the bottom lane now. CLG may have just got a rotation that they wanted.
Dexter did get caught right there by getting counter-ganked, but much like his other games on Elise, even when he gets caught, he is the slipperiest dude to try and catch. He gets away so efficiently. He did have to burn Flash, and it did give Doublelift some time in the bottom lane, so not too much went wrong there. Oh man, they want this.
They've broken the black shield, the flash over, it goes to Helios. They're gonna be getting a red buff refresh, but they do not get any kills. They do blow up the few flashes that are gonna help for another engagement.
Yeah, a near miss right there. So 2 flashes down. They will be down for the next dragon.
Oh, it's tiny. Seraph ducked that one.
Mundo is fantastic in the top lane against Lulu, especially around this stage of the game, where he can build that early Spirit Visage and then tank up what Seraph does. Oh, there goes that minion wave and half of everyone's health.
Wow. What a play. Super helpful there to stop CLG from opening up the map, having even more buff pressure on Evil Geniuses. That would also pretty much deny Innox really anything in the lane if he's got CLG coming in from the backside and he knows it. Good play. Both teams still hold the outer 3 turrets. 18 minutes in. Definitely not a problem with teams wanting to fight, but it's the problem of the kills going down in the fights. Everybody's disengaging really well in these, or just flashing to get themselves to safety.
This game is going to be blown up pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
It feels like.
Almost like these long game waits better. It's like taking traffic on the 405 early and waiting all day, or you wait and then take it and you get everything instantly. So 19 minutes coming up.
Joke.
Right. LA joke, sorry.
Look at this,
little
though.
inside.
2 turrets going down.
Whoa, whoa. Like you said, Jat, when it opens up, it's going to open right up. Can Doublelift get away? Altec fires the living artillery. It's all about trying to find him now. The pink ward is just out of range.
Jeez.
What a run from Doublelift, but what a push there from EG. Now 2 turrets and a 2,000 gold lead.
Once Kog'Maw gets that Trinity Force, that bottom lane becomes a lot scarier, and EG may have just opened this game up. They've taken 2 of the outer turrets right before the dragon is to be spawning. The question will be if they are out of resources or haven't shopped, whereas everyone on CLG just got pushed back to base, so they will have items. But the dragon's up right now, and Doublelift is not in range.
I don't know if they'll have the items to do the same amount of damage. Pobelter with the needlessly large rod is a huge spike. Like you said, the Triforce, and they came back with a bit more pen and a bit of resistances on the side of CLG, so they cannot fight the damage that EG has right now at the 19-minute mark of the game. Another dragon over the Evil Geniuses, 2 of 2 here versus CLG.
Fight come in though, no flash on Kog.
Looking for the cards. Oh, he gets instant cleanse, but he walks right into a Lulu. You're not going to be able to cleanse everything. You can only get so clean. Cathy and Surprise going down, but the team does not follow.
Riv, that's not the way CLG wins games, though. 5 people down bottom and a TF ult for a kill when they've just lost 2 turrets and a dragon, potentially a 3rd one. They are down about 3,000 gold at nearing the 20-minute mark right now. The only game this split where CLG has had a larger gold deficit at 20 minutes and still won was against Complexity, and that was off of Miracle Baron. Also, EG has never had a lead this large at 20 minutes this split and ended up losing the game. So a lot of good things happening for EG right now.
We just went from little to nothing to a lot of something instantly. Again for the try on the blue buff, trying to harass out a little bit. Doublelift's going to pick up a turret here. This will be the first opening of the map for Evil Geniuses, or I should say for CLG. And they'll look to get a little bit more here. That doesn't really even open up the buffs as much as EG has them opened up now. You can see the freedom they have with the top tier, or the outer tier of turrets being down. The Sight Stone's going to work right now.
That'll be the question here. CLG clearly in a big deficit, Riv. But they need to find the catches. Doublelift has his Brutalizer. He wants to get to his Ghostblade so that even though Altec would be better in a sustained fight, that snap instant when Twitch comes out of ambush, he would want to take Kog'Maw down. I saw a Kog'Maw in the OGN quarterfinals in Korea against a Twitch actually doing the Blade of the Ruined King Ghostblade build on Kog'Maw when he was against a Twitch, just so that if Twitch opened up on it, Kog'Maw could fight back with the exact same actives, and then he outscaled them when he went to late game anyway. Not the case here. They're going for him.
Uh-oh, Void Puppy, no! Oh, he gets it! The Black Shield coming out! What a beautiful job by Evil Geniuses to bait that attack in. CLG going a little hard without the vision on the map, and it looks like they're going to be able to force this one back onto CLG. The pink ward goes down, they see Doublelift, they get the lockdown, they try to shut him down. Helios, he's just trying to walk wherever he thinks Doublelift would be. They're able to get the kill onto that one, and EG is just running rampant right now. Seraph tries to pick up something in mid lane, and even with the Destiny, CLG decided that was still a good idea.
It was still a spectacular counter there by EG. Krepo with the timed gold card right there.
Oh no!
Run, Pobelter, run!
Flash and Ghost! Keep going!
No. All right, CLG trying to fight back a little bit as well, desperately trying to get kills, but this is not the way CLG wins. They're losing turrets, getting kills on the outside. Oh man, Dexter though, how many kills?
Another one goes in. Altec, don't put yourself in a bad situation here. He does have double buff. It's going to be very nice for continuous living artilleries. Helios left on the low road as the rest of the team takes the high road, and it looks like a final disengage from this party we had in the bottom lane. We'll see Link not going to be able to put too many items under his belt, and already trying to make kind of Zanya initiation plays without a Zanya. Very scary.
This one was kind of crazy because Link goes in here knowing full well the Black Shield can block.
Yeah.
He goes straight into a binding and then gets countered by a teleport. So actually, if you were to reanalyze that fight, it wasn't a good idea by Link to go in the first place. And then it's not like CLG didn't know where EG was on the map when Link used his ultimate. EG just collapsed faster, better. They had more move speed overall. Seraph was ended up pushing mid because his teleport was down from earlier. Innox beat him to the spot.
All right, Jack, here we go. CLG communication. Now they're making moves. Do they continue with this? Because look, across the map they're getting kills, but mid-tier second is going down the mid lane. A huge wave.
Outer tier top turret for the just heart and soul of your base, the middle turrets right here. As long as they can make it back for the Nexus turret, it's okay, because it would be a kill in a turret for a kill in a turret, and maybe if Doublelift is choosing to stay. This is a ballsy hold though right now, because EG has a very tanky Nunu, and they're willing to die.
Doublelift's gonna be the only one that's left. This is what EG loves, and it's what a team loves. When you have a Nunu, you can be at that turret a little bit longer, you can make the dives happen. Living artillery down on the Link. He does not have that Zhonya's yet. He's only working with the Seekers. He does have a bit of the armor, which keeps him alive for the push, but summoners are blown on both sides for that safety of the inhibitor going down. Inhibitor turret, I should say. Inhibitor still up.
Yeah. All right, so gold-wise, that trade favored CLG because they got the kill. But the importance of those turrets relative to the game means EG will win that one. And Doublelift, you're not getting back, buddy.
Oh, he dodges. Dodges one. Oh,
that'll tell him where he is.
Good guy Krepo giving Helios the lock-in for an assist, and the rest of the team. Altec picks up another kill, 4-1-0, getting a very scary Kog'Maw going.
Going and then some. Look at the move speed he's picking up as well.
Alacrity boots, yeah.
Alacrity boots on Kog'Maw, plus the cleanse, plus the black shield, plus the blood boil. It's a
good synergy.
Little bugger. Also, remember, we mentioned before the game, in our feature matchup, Doublelift versus Altec.
Yep.
One of these guys could end up going off and decide the fate of the game here. 3 double-digit kill games on an 80 carry by Altec, more than any other 80 carry in the NA LCS this split. He is prone to destroying these games. And they're so powerful right now, they can just take objectives on spawn.
And they have the timer to do it. And the position as well. They moved here well before the Dragon was even going to be up. Counterlogic Gaming is all in base, because they're not too worried about it. The Zhonya's is finally finished from Link. EG had about 5, 6, 7 minutes with 2 items on the majority of their champions, on their players, that they have been able to get this lead with. See if they can keep pushing it up. Got a 4,000 gold lead exactly right now on CLG, 6-4. CLG is now going to start pressuring the top side of the map with that Dragon being down. They can start working this top tier inhibitor turret, or even middle. They need to get these wards up.
Thinking about this game, this is the moment where CLG has to just prove that they are the better team communication-wise. EG has had a lot of issues in the past taking their early game advantages into late game wins, and CLG prides themselves on their map strategy and rotations. So even though they're down in gold, they should be able to manufacture a victory against EG right here. EG is not as coordinated of a team as CLG is, and it's all about whether CLG can find the catches they want and end up winning this game.
I think the thing that got EG ahead in this game to this point, whether they can close it out or not, is one of the things they said in the pre-game is that maybe we should focus Seraph, but they didn't. And not focusing Seraph has given them a lot of control on the map, but do they have enough to close it out? Now that they're at the goal line, can they keep pushing on? They look very scattered right now, and they're going to get dodged out on the Glacial Fissure. Altec's in a great spot. Link from the backside gets a good Zhonya's, but I think he's got the focus of death, and he does go down to the hands of Pobelter. This is kind of where it's scattered. CLG now sets up the lines, both teams staring into the white of each other's eyes. Aphromoo goes down. No way, EG dances it out, and they get the lead on this one.
Rip, nobody died on EG right now. Just Doublelift and Seraph trying to heal up desperately at base. They are on the Nexus turrets.
What amazing games we've had today. For nothing to happen for so long, and then an instant, a catalyst to create the end of the game and victory for one team. This time it's Evil Geniuses, 27-27 on the clock as they start battering down on the Nexus. And EG will take down Counterlogic Gaming.
This is the most excited I have ever seen EG after a regular season victory. Their rivals, who they could not beat in scrims, they just crushed in 27 minutes and 43 seconds.
What a definitive amount of gameplay. Dragon after dragon, not letting Counterlogic Gaming even look at the direction of an objective, and continuously making off-the-ball plays that made CLG put their entire team in a section of the map and then lose a turret, lose another turret, and then even more of the domino effect came into play.
And if there was a game that EG had to win to turn their season around and potentially avoid relegation, it would be this one. We talked about how down you can get on yourself as a team when you lose week after week after week. And for EG to be the last place team in the LCS, to take down CLG, who was tied for first, as far as morale goes and being able to practice and prepare for games tomorrow and for the next 2 weeks of the LCS, this is it. This could potentially reignite EG into a run.
What a just shock and awe matchup of back and forth. So competitive from Helios and Dexter in the jungle, always stepping on each other's toes in the mid lane, trying to help out either Pobelter or Link. And then I think we saw the desperation from CLG on the Destiny initiations that I'm sure the whole team were behind, but they weren't close enough behind on the map to really follow up.
Well, let's be fair. CLG is not a team that will sit around and let you beat them slowly.
No.
So that was
a
fight where they realized they were behind in the game.
Right.
They went for the initiation. That was a close fight. But at the end of the day, their double AP couldn't kill the Mundo, and then the dive didn't work, so EG was able to push in for a win. It ended a little bit faster because CLG tried to take action. Yeah. But man, 27-minute victory for EG, a team that hadn't been able to close out advantages. They finally do against a team who's great at playing from behind.
The first time these teams played, it was 27 minutes. And then the next game went to 47, both in favor of CLG.
Yeah.
EG was able to find that 27 for themselves this time. Great play from the bottom lane. Krepo's Black Shields.
Perfect.
More than once, combined with a followed-up cleanse, or one before the other, and just a strategy played there between the two to not just throw out, oh my gosh, I'm crowd-controlled, because that could easily lock down a fight for CLG, but they were on point every time in the disengage.
And even just looking at the team compositions, Riv, we saw it with the first pick, Kog'Maw. Immediately in your head, you're thinking, all right, CLG wants to pick Twisted Fate to dive, and EG knew that was coming. That's why they picked the Nunu and the Morgana, so that if Link did teleport in on Twisted Fate, he wouldn't be able to do anything.
Right.
How many times did we see him going on Kog'Maw, land a gold card into a Black Shield and die? That was what he could do on options.
Yeah.
He didn't have the ability to outplay the composition that EG picked there. And it was really, obviously, a good performance by EG, but an even better pick and ban phase.
Yeah, I was just going to mention picks and bans, not focusing any of the junglers. So it was kind of cream of the crop that everybody had to pick, and Helios went back to his Nunu.
Yeah, Nunu above all other junglers.
Something he could be a menace on. All right, for now, we're going to throw it over to Freak and Dash for more on EG's big win.
Thanks, Riv. We're joined at the desk by Altec and Pobelter. After another win, this brings you to 2 wins in a row here. Now, Pobelter, does this mean EG's turnaround, going full throttle into the end of the season?
I hope so, because we're going to need like all the wins we can get if we want to make playoffs.
Absolutely. So speaking of which, you guys are now sitting at 6 and 15, puts you a few games behind Curse. What exactly are you guys looking to do in terms of wins and strategies to get up to that mark?
We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, and we've been practicing a lot more, looking over our own game. So we've just pretty much upped the time that we've put into preparing for LCS, and I think that's made a marked improvement.
Yeah, you guys look actually really, really strong right now. You mentioned kind of keep doing what you've been doing, Altec to you. We've seen a couple of new things come out. We saw Ramus and Maokai in the EU LCS yesterday. We saw some new stuff come out as well. Xerath making kind of a reappearance in North America, for example. Are you guys sticking to the old stuff's working for you guys? Are you branching out as well? We haven't seen it yet. What's the deal with kind of new pools?
We're branching out, kind of. We've been practicing a lot of other stuff in scrims, but for this specific game, the pick and ban was like as we expected. So like everything went well in our favor, and we got a really good comp.
I want to actually ask you about then playing new things in scrimmages because, of course, the scrim is both, it's practice for your team as well as the team you're against. Is it sometimes weird when they're like, we're going to try out something new that you probably don't have any like reason to practice against? Is that sometimes like painful and like, man, we got to practice against Jungler Rengar, but we're not playing Curse for a while? Like, is that sometimes disruptive?
Yeah, it is very disruptive because we're like, oh, this champion might never see play in LCS, so it's kind of weird. But as we've seen today, Voyboy brought out the Justana mid.
Yeah, looked great.
Another new thing that we saw, or that we're seeing change, is some of the summoner spells in the bottom lane. A lot of AD carries are now going cleanse, like you did there, as well as Doublelift taking the barrier. So as an AD carry, what are your thoughts in terms of the evolution of the summoner spells in the bot lane?
Since this meta is like all hyper carry, you build around the hyper carry like Lulu, top, and all that. you don't really need the kill pressure, so you can run barrier and heal and just play passive and just go late game.
Was it difficult then playing against this team though, where they actually do have like, you have like nothing to cleanse, like you literally don't have a summoner spell for the laning phase basically. Is that more difficult? I think you were down in CS a little bit.
Yeah, I was down in CS, but our comp, we were able to siege really well, and whenever TF ports on me, we have Black Shield and Cleanse, so like I basically couldn't die if I was grouped with the team.
So it didn't seem to actually pose much threat to you. Then Pobelter, I noticed you also went Ghost in the mid lane. We see that on TF only so far, so are we going to see more stuff branch out mid as well?
Yeah, I think a lot of the current like meta, well, things that are becoming meta mid laners like Xerath, Ghost is good to pick up on them because they already have enough damage. They just need to survive in a fight and keep their range. So Flash Ghost is really nice for that. And if you can get to the point where you pick up Distortion Boots, it's really difficult to die.
Cool. Now we talk about mobility and the new summoner spells and things like that, and we see a pretty good example. We're going to pull up the last fight of the game onto your screen where CLG actually chooses to initiate this one, but it's you guys who are kind of causing the chaos and coming out with the win. So Pobelter, if you could walk us through this final engagement.
Okay, so we see Elise from the side right here, and we're just trying to get hits on the inhib when we can. And then Braum goes in for a flash engage, but misses. We see TF port behind us, and so we instantly move all our focus to him. And all the while, Mundo is soaking up all of Twitch's damage, which is huge. They tried to kill me, but I managed to survive, and so I'm still throwing out damage right here. And then Twitch has already like used his ult and everything on Mundo, and now he has nothing. And then from here, it's just clean up.
So you guys seem to crush really well, and of course you guys just took down the #1 team. I guess now they're #2 in the LCS. You guys dropping down CLG. You guys face another top dog next week, or tomorrow I should say as well, Dignitas. First of all, did you actually get to see the Dig vs Curse game, and do you get any notes from that?
Yeah, I feel like they kind of got cheesed a little by the mid Tristana. Like they weren't expecting it and didn't know how to play against it. But I think they still looked strong in some parts, so we're just going to have to prepare like we would any other week. And then they've been on a losing streak recently, so hopefully that will work a little in our favor, and maybe they'll be a little demoralized.
So you're hoping you're coming in with just like your picks and bans already. I mean, you do, of course, prep for both opponents coming into the week. Right. So just business as usual. You're just like, yeah, we still know Dig's good. We're just going to hope you do our best.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, maybe we'll see some of those unconventional picks, the Xerath or Nidalee, come out in the top lane.
I don't want to reveal anything.
all right. I tried. You can't
said there was
fault me
something.
for trying, exactly. Well, we'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us here on the desk. Good luck in your game tomorrow. Congratulations on your win. All right, we've got to take a quick break, but we've still got more LCS action coming your way when Team Solo Mid faces off against LMQ. Keep that browser where it's at.
Happy birthday, dear Peter. Happy birthday to you.
They're going for it. Oh, Void Puppy, no! Oh, he gets it! The Black Shield coming out! What a beautiful job by Evil Geniuses.
They're flashing in. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Twitch right now.
Jab in the back, jab.
Okay, Mitch is burning everything on me. I'm still alive. I'm regenning back up.
Front line.
People on Aphro.
Okay,
Alright, good job.